The sun dips below the city wall. A man in a dark robe stands at the gate of a compound he has never entered, holding a live wild goose. The bird is calm, its feathers the color of twilight. Dusk is not a romantic choice. In ancient China, it is the only hour when a wedding may begin. The exact moment Yang departs and Yin arrives, when the world holds its breath between light and dark. The word for marriage, hun, is written with the character for dusk. A wedding is literally the dusk ceremony. What you are about to witness is not the red and gold spectacle of costume dramas. There are no firecrackers, no orchestras, no laughter. In the Zhou dynasty, 3,000 years ago, a wedding is a solemn, nearly silent affair. The bride wears black, not red, and the entire ritual unfolds with the gravity of a treaty signing between two nations. Because that is precisely what it is. The man at the gate is a matchmaker. He has come to ask for a girl's hand on behalf of another family. This first step is called natsai, the presenting of a choice. The wild goose in his arms is not decoration. Geese are migratory birds. They fly south with the cold and north with the warmth, always following the sun, said to mate for life. The ancients saw in this a living symbol of yin following yang, and of loyalty that survives every season. The girl's family accepts the goose. The negotiation has begun. No one asks the girl. No one asks the boy either. Over the following months, 5 more rites unfold like the movements of a composition. The matchmaker returns to ask the girl's name and birth date, Wenming, the inquiry of name, which the boy's family carries to their ancestral temple to be read before the spirits. Tortoise shells are heated until they crack, and the fissures are read for signs of fortune. If the ancestors disapprove, the marriage ends before it has truly begun. If they approve, the matchmaker returns once more, another goose in hand, to deliver the verdict. Naji, the gift of auspiciousness. Then comes Najung, the only step that requires no bird. The boy's family sends 5 bolts of silk, 3 black, 2 crimson, the colors of night and dawn stitched into the fabric of the cosmos itself, along with 2 deerskins. These are not trinkets, they are currency. Once accepted, the contract is sealed. There is no turning back. A wedding date is divined and proposed with polite deference, Qingqi, asking the time. And then, finally, at the next dusk, the groom himself arrives at the bride's door. For the first 5 rites, he sent messengers. For the 6th, Qingying, the personal welcoming, he must come himself. This is the only moment in the entire process when the 2 people at the center of it all are in the same place. They may have never seen each other before. The Yi Li, or Book of Etiquette and Ceremonial, the ancient manual that codified these rites sometime between the 5th and 3rd centuries BCE, records every gesture of this evening with obsessive precision. The groom wears a dark crimson robe. The bride's garment is black with red borders, the colors of night and fire, not the bridal red that would come nearly 2,000 years later. Her father gives her final instructions in the western chamber. Her mother adjusts her sash and tells her to be respectful, to be diligent, to not disobey. Torchbearers line the path with reed torches, their flames the only light under the deepening sky. The smell of sandalwood and heated lacquer hangs in the air. The bride steps into a carriage, and the groom himself drives it 3 times around the courtyard before handing the reins to a driver. A ritual echo of an older time, when men literally carried their wives home. But what happens in the chamber after the doors close is perhaps the most extraordinary moment of all. A single gourd has been split in half. Its rind is rough, its flesh bitter. Each half becomes a cup. The bride and groom each drink from their own half, then exchange and drink from the others. The wine inside carries the gourd's bitterness. They do not toast. They do not kiss. They do not smile. This is He Jin, the joining of the halves, and its meaning is unmistakable. 2 separate lives, 1 gourd, cut open and bound together with red silk. The bitterness is not accidental. It is the point. Marriage begins with the taste of bitterness because the ancients understood that a shared life contains both sweet and bitter, and that the vow is to drink both from the same vessel. The 2 halves are then tied together and kept as a token for the rest of their lives. You can still see these tokens. In 1986, archaeologists opening a Warring States period tomb in Jingmen, Hubei, unearthed a painted double lacquer cup. 2 cylindrical vessels joined as one, a carved phoenix perched between them, dragons coiling across its surface. It is the earliest physical He Jin cup ever found, and it is anything but plain. By the Han Dynasty, a royal consort named Do Wan was buried with a bronze Heijin cup inlaid with gold and turquoise, twin cups linked by a bird with a ring in its beak. The bitter gourd, it seems, was the first thing to go. The ritual remained. The humility did not. But here is the deeper truth, the one hidden beneath every goose and every silk bolt. This entire apparatus is not about love. The lineages, the Book of Rites compiled around the 2nd century BCE but describing customs centuries older, states plainly that marriage exists to join the good of two surnames. Above to serve the ancestral temple, below to continue the lineage. The bride is not marrying a man. She is being transferred between families, leaving one ancestral lineage to enter another. For 3 months after the wedding, she is a wife, but not yet a daughter-in-law. She must wait for the temple ceremony, Miaojian, when she is formally presented to her husband's ancestors. Only then does she truly belong. Only then is the marriage complete. Think of what that means. A girl perhaps 15 years old, the age at which the rites of Zhou declared a woman eligible for marriage, leaves her home at dusk, carried to a house she has never entered, to serve parents she has never met, bound to a man whose face she saw for the first time in torchlight. The night she departs, her family keeps every candle burning for 3 nights, thinking of her far away. The groom's family, for 3 days, makes no music, mindful that the bride still misses her home. This is not cruelty for its own sake. It is a society built on continuity, where the individual is a thread in a weave that stretches back through centuries of ancestors and forward through children not yet born. The thread does not choose its color. It simply holds. And yet, poetry remembers what ritual forgets. The Guanju, the very first poem in the Book of Songs, composed perhaps 1,000 years before the Han Empire existed, sings of a nobleman lying awake at night, tormented by longing for a girl gathering plants by the river. Gentle and fair is the maiden, the poem opens, a good mate for the Lord. He pursues her in his thoughts. He cannot sleep. He imagines playing the kin and salutes to win her, striking bells and drums to bring her home. Whether the poem describes an actual courtship or was sung at weddings as a blessing, it says something the ritual books never do, that before the goose and the silk and the bitter wine, there is simply a person who wants another person. The longing was there. The rules simply built a wall around it.